Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters in That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Today I welcome two very special guests. We got Crue, and we got David from the band Sick Kid Crew. How you boys doing today?
All
Doing
right,
good.
how you doing?
Good. Thanks for asking.
No worries. And I guess, how you guys been recently? What's new?
On besides the bass player having COVID and trying to put out new music, there's not much really going on. Just trying to keep things afloat.
I've been playing a lot. That's that's what the therapy stick is for.
And David, you're getting the checks I'm sending you, right?
Oh yeah. Then they're cashing too, believe it or not.
Right. Oh,
At least we would hope they'd be cashing. So, all right, that's very good to hear. And I guess, Crue, have you been okay? Because I think when we were talking, I think you had a horrific truck crash or something.
yes, sir. On I really can't say much on because the lawyer has me keeping quiet about it. But I was involved in a truck accident where another semi had hit me and it messed up my back pretty good. So I'm laid up at home. There's like I'm not working on right now except for like writing music on just for the band. But that's it for right now.
Yeah, we're good to see you are doing well there, mate. So it's good to have you around. So,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. So, Crew and David, I want to welcome you both here to my podcast right here. And the way it's going to work is, you guys some questions. It's good to know you guys more both behind the music, but also what you guys do in the band as well here too. So, are you both ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Crew, here we'll start with you. So, let's get to know your backstory a little bit more. So, who are you? And I guess what role do you play in the band? And I guess how did you become a musician?
Uh, My real name is Daryl, but I don't like that. So on I go by Crue. I grew up during the '80s. Motley Crue on was a huge influence, and so I wanted to be a bass player so bad because of Nikki Sixx. So I went out and got myself a bass, and I pretty much played like Nikki did, until I learned how to play. Then and joined bands, and on I was doing the whole band thing, on growing up, and I finally I met my wife and had some kids and had to give the band thing up. So that that's pretty much me. And I decided I missed my music, so I decided to start writing music, and I put this whole Sick Kid Crew thing together, and oh, and just one thing after another, people started enjoying on the stuff I was writing, and one piece after another. I put an ad out. I'm looking for musicians, and on I got everything together, and here we are so far. But on it's just basically I miss the '80s music, and I wanted that sound to come back, and I'm with the guys in the band as far as they're definitely doing it for me. So that's pretty much my life.
Yeah, I would say also the way the artwork was, from what I was seeing on YouTube channel as well, it did strike me as like that old colorful sort of images that always came out with like the '80s sort of album covers you
Right,
saw.
right.
So let's see why.
On that's if that's what you're getting from it, then what we're doing is right. Because on there's so much of this the music that sounds the same today, and I think people still love the '80s. They just forgot about it.
I'd say they didn't really forget about it. They just wish they can go back to the '80s.
Right?
So it
Oh, we
scares
need that big hair.
the whole hair metal deals. Yeah, okay.
Right?
Okay. And actually, you're also the band manager, right? You help organize all these guys for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was gonna say how that all worked out. I guess was it just something to just be like, okay, I'm gonna help herd all the cats right here.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna have to
I I, um I had the material written. I just didn't have the band to do it, and then so I started putting it together. And with me being a truck driver, I knew I couldn't actually play in the band, so I had to have to do something. So I do the managing part of it.
All right, doing some good work there, mate. So, all right.
let's I'm kind of looking forward to that part. I've never played in a band. I played in bands that have been nationally signed acts and opened up for national acts. and a full-time manager has always seemed like a luxury up until now. Now it's this is going to be a good band. You heard about Brian Epstein when he told the naysayers that the Beatles were going to be the biggest band they've ever seen.
Right?
Yeah, but probably a little bit later because they were also competing with the Stones, and then they also had some of the guys came out in the '60s, and then classic rock in the '70s. So I mean, yeah, but yeah, you're all right. He was right in the end, so you can see why.
Yes, sir.
So, but I guess David, what's your story? How'd you become a musician?
Oh, I was born with a guitar in my hands. My first guitar was a Harmony Rocket that my dad garbage picked and had a broken neck on it. He brought that home and glued it back together, and that was my beginner guitar. And back in those years, it wasn't when I grew up. It was a very different time, and I still remember some of it. But I've always had a guitar. I always had a guitar in my hands. It's just a question of which direction the musical influences are going to lead. And it wasn't like guitar. I fell into guitar. I played guitar, then played trombone in the school band for a while. Flopped out of that, came back to guitar. Tried other various instruments over the years, but I always kept gravitating back towards guitar. And sometimes when something's part of your life, you just don't realize it's part of your life until you trip over it. And that's kind of the way it was with me and the instrument. I've been playing it long enough now. Badly that I've actually gotten accomplished at it. So at this point, it is a part of my life, and I enjoy it, and I enjoy it when other people enjoy my playing. It is rewarding as well, and that's I guess that's what keeps me moving forward with the music. As long as people are enjoying it. People stop enjoying it, well then I'll go back to engineering or something boring like that.
So we go back to the boring life. So, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Anybody can go back to a boring life.
Yeah, a desk job, as I would probably call it, to be honest. So. Okay.
Yeah, an honest job.
David, if they stop enjoying it, that means I'm not doing my job right.
There you go.
Yep. Afterwards, it'd be like, we made the unanimous decision. You're fired. So, yeah, whip out the Donald Trump card when he was back in the Apprentice days. So.
Yeah, I remember that show. That wasn't that long ago, I don't think.
I was gonna say, boy, it seemed like early 2000s. Now that I think about it too. So, and then for me, I didn't really have a problem with it. I was just like, hey, that's pretty good. And he always seemed to have like that catchphrase line at the end, always being like, "You're fired." So,
Someone's got to get fired.
I mean, yeah, it was all sorts of celebrities though. So I mean, like, it wasn't like actual middle class people, to be honest. So, but it's whatever at this point. But I guess get back into music here. I guess who came up with the name Sick Kid Crue?
I did.
All right. I guess so. Let's start with the history there, and I guess you put up all the flyers and the ads. So I guess
yes, sir.
From there.
Up on back in my day, like I said, because I envied Motley Crue, and I wanted to be Crue so bad that for my stage name back in the day, I used to go by Sick Kid Crue. On when I was playing bass. So and people were like, "Man, I love that name." So then on it's a play on words, like because I still get the word crew in there. I'm not stealing nothing from Motley, but just like Nikki was like, they wanted to name themselves Christmas because it was already famous. But on Sick Kid Crue, I've been called Crue for many years, all through high school, and I took the name for playing bass, and so I thought, hey, I'll just make a band that name. It sounds sleazy. It sounds a good band name, so I put it out there, and people enjoy it.
Right. And then I guess so. When did you eventually come across David here? I guess did he reach out to you when he saw one of your flyers?
I had put an ad. I put ads everywhere, and David reached out to me.
So, I did forget to ask. I did forget to ask. Which part of the world are you guys hailing from?
We're down here in
We're all from Florida.
Got more Florida boys. All right. I guess I was going to say close to Miami, Tampa, those sorts of cities.
Basically all over Florida a little bit, which is all mixed around, but on heart, from like Orlando down to the East Coast.
All right. I do know actually some friends I have interviewed out of Florida. So shout out to Silver Bullet Smile and Anxiety Attack.
Okay.
So just want to give those guys a nice little shout out there too. So
right. Hey,
so,
I don't know if you ever heard of on Doc Rock on Metal Shop 101.
I have not. So I guess you want to go ahead and fill in.
Well, I just wanted to give a shout out to Doc Rock because he's the one that gave us a chance. He picked up our music and has been playing it on the radio for us, and he plays that on like 40 different countries, and and I really appreciate on everything that Doc Rock has done for us.
All right, shout out to Doc Rock. Thank you guys for sharing these guys' music right here. All right, so I guess moving on here to the next one. I guess. So have you guys played any shows yet? I guess when did you guys officially form Sick Kid Crue? Was this before COVID or during COVID?
I knew it was after COVID. We haven't played nothing out yet, but we're working on it.
All right. So I guess we'll go jump into the
getting
question.
A solid lineup with really good chemistry. This is going to be a good band when we do get it out, which is not going to be. We're not that far away from it. This is going to be a really good band.
Yeah. So David, what other bands did you play in before you found Sick Kid Crue?
I played in Out of Time, Oasis, and a whole bunch of other ones you probably haven't heard of. Those are probably the two bands that you may have heard of. Out of Time was signed by Fervor Records a while back. That was a 3-piece power trio, and we had a lot of fun with that. The band was together for several years and had some good commercial success. And the Oasis band, we never recorded, but we were a well-known name throughout the area in the Christian rock genre. Those are probably the two that you may have heard of. And I've sat in with other folks, Mac Arnold and Scotty Hawkins, some other musicians that you all may have noted. I've never made it to the Alan Holdsworth or Eddie Van Halen level. I'm still working my way up to that one.
When you said Oasis, is this the Oasis at the UK, the ones who sing Wonderwall?
No, this is Oasis. This Oasis was first, actually. The Christian rock band Oasis was before them, and they're a U.S. band, and they play the Christian rock scene.
I was gonna say, oh man, do I have a big fan of you out of the UK? So
yeah.
Probably a good.
I don't know how you piece that. I mean, that happened with Out of Time as well. There's people that took our name. REM released an album named Out of Time after our album came out. Like, it was a couple of years after our album came out. And the thing is, our album was played on college radio stations across the country, college radio stations and some commercial stations. So it wasn't like, we recorded a record and that was the end of that. This record got national airplay. I don't know how you police that. Even now with the internet, you still hear people using the band name Out of Time. Why not just use the Beatles or something? That'd be a lot more impactful, I would think.
Right.
I'll tell you, it's kind of the same way because I know some friends who are trying to play like Kiss, and I think there was maybe like a couple of Metallica songs. I don't know which ones, but the copyright deal is like pretty legit, I guess, for anyone who's got like the big name, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, or it's something they're able to like pay so many dollars just to keep the copyright within this band name. So
you can actually trade name like you would any other legal trademark. Register that with the Patent and Trademark Office or Copyright Office. One of the federal offices. You can actually register a band name. A lot of the artists that are have good legal advice have gone ahead and done that. We obviously didn't. We did everything on our own, and we just weren't that smart. And now obviously we have no legal recourse or anything like that. We have a manager now, and we're not going to have that problem anymore moving forward.
Right.
That's what Crue right here is going to do. So, all right. That's good. And I know you mentioned about influence here, so David, here you can go first. Was Eddie Van Halen like one of your big influences? And if you want to list any offhand others, go ahead.
No, not really. In fact, I don't even know why I mentioned him, probably because everybody knows him. Back in those years, we did everything different, everything opposite of what was being popular, what was in the metal scene. If it was metal, we made it thrash, or we made it punk, or we made it whatever was popular. We did the opposite and louder and more obnoxious. And that's the way we played. And obviously, that style still has a value because I got this job, which I wouldn't have gotten this job if I hadn't played like I played.
It seemed like everyone in the 80s wanted to go loud and they wanted to go faster. So whenever you think about it.
Louder, faster, louder, cleaner. That was part of my sound back then. Was I got this from Robin Trower, actually. There's an influence for you. Marshall half stack and a Fender half stack. I saw Robin Trower do this years ago. I'm thinking, so that's how he gets that big wall of sound. And believe it or not, it does work. My earliest influences probably go back to Les Paul and Trini Lopez, one of the original trio musicians, and probably Rory Gallagher. He's an Irish blues. He's passed on now, but he was a big influence in my early playing as well. Another three-piece power trio format. Years later, I heard him playing on YouTube copies of some of his acoustic sets, and I thought, my God, he is a brilliant acoustic guitar player. I think years after he passed on, right? I thought, my God, he's a brilliant acoustic guitar player that I never really thought of as acoustic guitar player until he had passed on. He was a big influence on my playing as well. And then probably Jeff Beck, Ritchie Blackmore, and George Harrison, believe it or not. George Harrison never recorded anything that you ever questioned. Listen to anything he ever played, solo, rhythm guitar, any guitar part, you never questioned what George Harrison did. Very tasteful player.
I go George Harrison. And speaking of the Beatles, I forget what movie it was, but it was like a global blackout, and everybody forgot like who the Beatles were. And this one guy happened to pounce on the opportunity. He's the one of the few people who know who the Beatles were, and he ends up pouncing on like the opportunity to like play their music. And actually, he added like a little punk influence for like one of the songs. I forget which one it was, but it's a funny movie. But actually, John Lennon actually ends up surviving, and they actually show that little clip.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Remember the name of the movie?
I can't remember. It's not coming to me right now. But just look it up whenever you get a chance to. It's an okay movie. I would say it's not going to knock your socks off, but it's an okay movie. I thought maybe since you mentioned George Harrison and the Beatles, it seemed like you were pretty big into them. So I figured, probably will dig this movie. So
yeah.
Okay. And I guess Crue, outside of the obvious with Motley Crue, I guess who else really inspired you?
Okay, Wasp, Rat, on Poison, on the big bands, I'm back in the 80s. Not only I enjoy having that music sound plus the show, like on because and you can go to a club or whatever like that and see a band play, and there's thousands of good bands out there, but I enjoy that whole theatrical show that on the bands could put on. Because the first time we ever seen a Looks to Kill video, because before that I was into Styx. I used to love Styx, and then Looks to Kill video came out, and I was like, what is this? And it just drew me in. And then Wasp was even more on over the top. I mean, Kiss was always out there, but Kiss was just makeup, like you had Gene Simmons and stuff like that. But Motley brought it to another level. Wasp brought it to another level. Wasp never really had the good songs on like Motley did. but on just that kind of in your face rock and roll on that was the stuff that I enjoyed, and I'm still wanting to bring that out again today. That's my influences. I'm right there. Like I said, Nikki Sixx was a huge influence, and until I learned how to play bass, then he just became a spokesperson, because then I switched to like Victor Wooten, on Stanley Clark, and on Steve Harris. It's just like on people who could really play. I don't believe in having to play like a million miles a minute, because like you take Mick Mars, and Mick Mars really, from Motley, he brings that sound to Motley, on while other bands on like Anthrax and everybody else was trying to go faster. Mick was just bringing that blues riff into it, and I don't think Motley would have been as popular as what they had been had it not been for that, on them. But you see, on after 40 some years on, they're still out there doing it, and and we're trying to bring it back.
Yeah, we're bringing back the '80s this sort of way here too, instead of like doing something like a Back to the Future sort of scenario right here, where we're trying to.
Right. And if you listen to David's influences are great, because on he brings that sound on that this band needs. He's my Mick Mars.
I do have to ask though, how'd you guys handle when like thrash was like starting to take off, like in '83, right around with Metallica and Slayer? Then like you brought in like Anthrax, Megadeth, and like they brought like the Big Eight all together, like Testament, all those guys. I guess, did you guys try to incorporate that into your play styles as well?
I've never really been a big fan of the thrash. On Slayer, I always hold respect for it, because to me, on they're the ultimate thrash band. Because wherever you go, people are always like Slayer. But like a lot of today's music, and I don't knock the bands, I'm just not into it, and I feel like people are tired of hearing music on that. Because I can't understand the lyrics, and yeah. I mean, to each their own, but I just don't get it, and I feel like the music that we grew up on, and the music on that we're putting out there, is basically sex, drugs, and rock and roll, which is the the basic foundation of the music on that we grew up on, and at least you can sing along with our stuff, you know. So I'm not Metallica. Metallica did it real well, because you can still Metallica writes really deep, lyrics, and I like that. And but you can understand on what they're singing. On you get into like some of these really black metal music, and it's just not my style. I mean, I know there's an audience for it, and I don't knock that at all, but it's just not the style I was going for.
You heard it right here live. We're bringing back sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Right. There you go. Jack Daniel's whiskey.
Actually, I think we should change it to sex, beer, and rock and roll, because I think everyone's now going to bash you about how bad drugs are these days. So.
Right.
It's still a problem. We've all had our demons over the years, but it's when you get to a point where you're so afraid to enjoy yourself, express yourself, have fun, because you're living in such an uptight society, and the music has become so uptight. Well, the pendulum's got to swing the other way at some point, and we're just helping it along a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, you ain't lying. So, and just real quick, Crue, I guess, who else is a part of the band? Just give us the current lineup.
Yeah, on we have on a guy on name on Mark, and he's on vocals now. On Terry on bass, and on this guy named Larry and he's on the drums. So in which Terry and he's out for and he's out for COVID. And the other two would have been here if it wouldn't been for the holiday weekend. And but I didn't want to put this off any longer, because I kept saying, okay, this week, and I just wanted to and not feel like I kept blowing you off, and people are asking to see us and stuff like that, and So I wanted to, on David was home, I'm home, so I figured we could knock this out. At least two of us are here. So,
Yeah. So you want to be the first. So yeah.
Appreciate you having us. This is very well timed and very much appreciated.
No worries. But we do have to get into the hard topic of COVID right here too. So I guess here, Crue, you can go first. So since you mentioned about you started this band like a little after COVID right here too, but how bad did COVID impact you personally, family wise, and then music wise with Sick Kid Crue?
Well, I just continue writing. I have music on for these guys to learn. So it just helps us along with being able to get like that first album out, and that's why up now on once we get this year done, as far as and the guys are ready for the next set, as far as I've got another set of music on for them on already written out, and so to me, being cooped up somewhere, COVID for me, I was able to still drive, because I was, my job never ends, but I'm always writing, all the time. So COVID really never hurt me. And so it just gives us a time to be able to dial in everything that needs to be fixed, replace people that need to be replaced on, and as far as on sometimes just like Terry now, as far as because I don't know the outcome on of Terry because he's not doing good at all, So I'm hoping for a recovery, but it might be to where he might back out. I don't know. He hasn't said that, but I mean he's not doing very good at all right now. So we take that on day by day. I check in with him daily, and sometimes I feel like I'm pushing him too much because I realize I know how COVID feels, and I don't want to be like, hey, this is your job kind of thing, but because I have nothing except for the highest respect for his family and him. And when somebody's sick, the last thing you want on as a boss guy coming down on your back, be like, when you doing? When you doing? So but we take it day by day. We pray, and just hope that everyone's okay.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that too. And I guess David, how bad was COVID for you?
COVID has totally changed our industry, our business. It's not the same as it was when we started. I mean, it's not as it was before we started, and we're just picking up the pieces as best we can now and moving forward. Music business has changed any way you slice it or dice it, and this band gives me that a platform to focus on looking forward, and that's kind of what we're doing here. COVID's behind us. We're moving forward, and we're moving forward with a very novel sound and some really great songs.
That's good to hear. And just real quick, did any of you guys get real sick with COVID?
I did.
Yeah, I got it as well.
All right. It's good to see you guys are doing well to me.
The first go around, if I was going from coast to coast, I'm like, man, this isn't real. This isn't real. And then all of a sudden, I caught it somewhere, and I felt the bottom just drop out of me. I made it home, and all I wanted to do was just lay in bed. And the wife was all like, "You got to get up. You got to get up." All right. So if it wouldn't be for her, I don't think I'd be here, because she kept checking on me during the night, make sure I was breathing and everything. And I think I said because of her, as far as that's the only reason on why I'm here. Plus the good Lord, So
it's a good woman. She
yeah.
fish to mate, so. Right.
When you marry your best friend, and you've got a good one. People are always putting down marriage and stuff like that, but I don't get it because I married somebody who I can spend 24 hours a day with and be happy with.
That's great to hear. And in all seriousness, it's good to see you guys are doing well there. So it's good to have you guys around here for the ride too. And God bless. So
thank you. Same to you.
Okay. And I like to bring up this question here too, because I have asked this question and I have heard about the answers like because I think it was Anxiety Attack and also Silver Bullet Smile. They talked about the scene in and around Tampa, how it really died down because that was really where like death metal and all those sorts of guys, it was like the mecca for those guys. So I guess, how's the music scene been in your neck of the woods? Is it kind of working, or?
There's 5 clubs in Orlando, and that's kind of the scene. You know, it's the same playlist, and 5 different bands rotating in, and
Right.
that's really not what this band is about. We're off breaking new ground, breaking new ice, and writing original. And we'll expect in a live show. I would expect to see some cover music in there. You can't not. But our show is going to be predominantly originals and things you can't just go to the same 5 bars in downtown Orlando or Tampa for
Right.
and see all over. You're not going to see this show. The music, you won't hear the music. You won't see the show. And there's an energy. There's an energy that you won't get from a bar band. You should come out and check us, Brian.
Right.
I know the guy at the door. He can help. He can get you.
Yeah. Be like, wait, I know those guys. That's the whole thing. Yeah. Let me in.
Brian, I was going to say the same thing, as far as on Daytona, as far as you can walk up and down the strip in Daytona, and you can go to 5 different bars, 6 different bars, and hear the same music. You can leave one bar and go across the street and pick up right where you were at, but just a different singer. On all these bands are playing the exact same songs, man, and it's like, on really, is that why you actually become a musician? Is to play, and just that? I mean, nothing against cover bands, and everybody likes it, but man, get out and and see what else is out there. There's a lot of talent out there, and just like David is saying, we're going to bring one hell of a show, and it's just got to come out and take a chance, man. We don't want to be that, and we won't be that band that goes out and plays for $49.95 a night and try to split it, on between the band, and then the people be like, well, I missed them this week, I'm gonna go see them next week. No, we're not that band,
Well, covers and tribute bands. So yeah.
Right.
And sorry, Dave, were you gonna say something else?
No, I'm. Where's?
Okay.
But you notice though, there's a lot of tribute bands breaking out, and people are really taking heed of that. The difference there is like on they bring the sound, but we're bringing new music to that sound. On they're just reliving the hits. On we're bringing new hits. On with that same sound though.
Yeah. I actually do remember my parents actually going and checking out like a tribute band that was doing a whole bunch of Journey music. So yeah, I can see what you mean.
Right.
It's a big one.
Hey, can't go wrong with Don't Stop Believing. I mean, you can probably get the whole crowd jumping all in and around with that. So.
Right.
I would say when I was interviewing Anxiety Attack, they were talking about how Orlando also had like a good alternative music scene. So I guess, have you seen some of that?
It did pre-COVID. They did pre-COVID. Had a very good alternative music scene.
Not so much right now, though.
Nah, there may be some stuff underground. I'm still turning over rocks. I haven't found anything, but I'm not the final word on it either. I haven't given up full hope. Yeah. A lot of the stuff, you got to go to private parties or in a warehouse somewhere, and you got to know somebody. That's how some of these shows are, or they were.
Got to get down in the underground, so yeah. So
yeah, that's a real deal. That's a real thing.
Right,
yeah.
And Brian, see, the sad part is when you go to some of these clubs, right? And far as on those, they like, okay, we'll give you, and you can open for this band or you can do this band, and you look out in the audience and there's 12 people there, and the only 12 people there are the same 12 people that are waiting on for boyfriends and girlfriends of the next bands that are going up, because we need more people to come out and support the local music, and I mean, anybody can go dance onto a dance machine, but man, I think you'd have a lot more fun. When you see Sick Kid Crew up there on that sign, you definitely want to pull into that place. You know, we want to bring the biggest show on the smallest stage, and on whether it's 12 people or 100 people or 1,000 people, we want them to leave being like, man, did you see that guy do this or this, whatever, on them, not just be like, that was a good song, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, on Gene Simmons on taught me that, you know, they're like, you know, you go in and give them the biggest, baddest show. Like, you remember, because Gene, you know, back in the day, that, you know, on when they first started playing the small clubs, they had those empty cabinets of speaker cabinets, and they told the guy, don't shine the light on the cabinets, but they wanted to look like the biggest, baddest band, you know, in town. And if I'm doing my job right, these guys should have the crowds, you know. So I gotta get to work.
Yeah. Well, they'll say, you wanted the best, you got the best. So,
Right. There you go. Right.
Yeah. Actually, you got to throw in the theatrics afterwards there, too. I always loved it when they did it on Black Diamond. And they always raise the drum set up, and then they shut off all the lights, then they do the explosions right then and there, too. So,
right.
So, yeah, we got to bring that stuff back. Maybe just keep it simple, too. I think they get a little too pyrotechnic these days here, too. So.
Right. I think it's a Great White, and we probably won't be able to have the pyromanics, you know, inside the the shows there. I mean, you remember the time they actually started the place on fire?
I was thinking more of Rammstein's recent sort of activities that they were doing. Where they're like,
right.
They should have a fireball over here. It does like this pole, and then it just shoots right back to the stage. And just lights everything up too. So
Rammstein doing that?
Rammstein was doing that, yeah. It was so weird.
Well, maybe I can get David one of those flamethrowers on guitars, on like Nicky had, you know, like on fourth bass. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
I've seen those on Premier Guitar Rig Rundown at like close up, zoomed in video. I don't want anything to do with those things. If you ever saw behind one what makes it tick, you wouldn't either.
Hey, checks aren't that good yet, huh, David?
No, I think I'm fine with just a lot of lights and electricity and lots of volts. I'm fine. We can do a lot.
Let's say simplified explosives too afterwards. So yeah.
And explosives too. Is that what you want? Okay.
Yeah. Let's say simplified. We keep it at a good distance away from the stage. I don't think we want to have any incident. I think it almost happened with James Hetfield at one point too. I think he had some bad burns at one point. I forget if it was him or somebody else. So.
Yeah.
And, this question was a part of it here too, but I guess have you guys been impacted by the hurricanes at all? I don't know if there's been any recent ones that have come through.
No.
Nope, nothing on this side.
All right, that's good. I guess outside of the music, I guess what else do you guys do?
I actually drive truck, and just pretty much on just live a normal life. I got kids and a wife, and drive truck. And write whenever I have a free chance. I'm writing. I said I've got so much stuff written, but on that and on I like to watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I don't know if you ever seen that movie with Steve Martin, but that's my favorite movie. I watch that and I try to get the wife to watch it. She's like, that's dumb comedy, but I like it, you know. But I feel like I live that life, you know, being a truck driver, you know, on for over 30 some years. But yeah. That's me.
I guess David. I guess what else do you do outside of music? Any hobbies?
I spend a lot of my time either building vacuum tube guitar amplifiers and speaker cabinets, and if I'm not doing that, I'm racing motocross. So we have some really good weather down here for that, and I spend a lot of time on a dirt bike. That's probably my other biggest vocation. No, avocation, I guess that would be.
Somebody said okay shit or something like that. So
yeah, this avocation I think is the right word. I think that's right.
Evocation? I'm not sure, but all right. It's either that or invocation. We do that whole deal. So
there you go.
Not sure, but that's pretty cool. And I would say that's probably a secondary therapy outside of the music. So.
Oh yeah. It's you need something. I mean, you can't just do music 100% of the time or anything 100% of the time. There's a reason why cross training became a thing for the athletes, and it's the same thing for any other discipline. You can't be an engineer, you can't be a pilot, you can't be a tailor 24/7. It just wouldn't be healthy.
Right.
I mean, the funniest thing that I saw was like a little quote was, Florida's just made up of a bunch of islands that are all just connected by bridges right here and there, and they just somehow all form one big state. So it was like very big giant islands. I forget if it was like a Facebook post or something like that too. So I always thought that was interesting, considering how many swamps, rivers, lakes, and all the bodies of water having to go through it too. So I always thought that was interesting. Plus, I didn't know if you guys, what do they call those boats? The ones with the giant fan on the back?
Where is that? Where is that?
A fan boat.
The fan boat, yeah. And I was talking about Florida earlier. The way the post was kind of describing how Florida is, with like it's a numerous bunch of islands, and somehow they're all like all together. Somehow I don't know how it worked out. So I always thought it was weird.
Right. Well, the roads down here don't go straight because there's so much water. They have to go around the bodies of water, and it's to get from one side of the state to the one end of the state to the other can not always isn't always the most efficient, just because of the way they had to route the roads, highways. I understand that part. I understand for sure.
I would say, is that probably the reason why Interstate 10, I think it is the highway to hell, if we wanted to call it that?
Well, yeah, that goes straight across the country. I mean, you can go to California on that highway, not the highway to hell.
Right.
If you're going west, it's the highway to hell.
I was going to say Route 66. I mean, it's got the 2 6s in it all right. We just have to throw one more in.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
So.
Hey, there's a song in there somewhere.
I think, hey, we could make it work. I mean, hey, you guys were talking about clowns earlier, so.
On Friday, I'll give you props there, Brian.
Hey, I planted seeds in other people's brains before too, so I mean, hey, it's worked out in some sort of way. So
Highway 66 minus the 6,
Highway 60, and it's got a rhythm to it. Highway 66 minus the 6. It's got a rhythm to it already.
Right. On you heard it here first.
You heard it
here first.
He's gonna grab the guitar. We're gonna do it right here, right now. So.
Right.
But I'll leave you to it. So, all right. Thanks for the props, nonetheless. So.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Fine. I have a question for you.
What's up?
Have you listened to any of us?
I was checking it out last night. Actually, I was having a little trouble at first because I was trying to look it up on Spotify, and I was seeing like 2 Sick Kid Crews. I was trying to look at it too. I was thinking, like, I'm seeing this first logo on Messenger. Kind of struck me as like one of those soldiers you see like on a Sodom cover, for instance, with like army helmet and all that stuff. But yeah, I found you on YouTube. Thankfully, you put the link on your Facebook page right there. So I checked out. I had to laugh with some of the band names too, because it's like that bad clown is back or something like that. So yeah.
Right. Well, the people I go to to publish the music, and they actually put it on Spotify for us. And just that one time, I left the cap button on, and I put it in as Sick Kid Crew with all caps. So now they on Spotify they put it in 2 different segment areas. So I just noticed, because I was looking like, where's the rest of the music that's supposed to be out here? So I contacted the people, and they're like, okay, and they sent Spotify a message to combine those 2 together, because it's all the same band. It just one has capital letters, the other one has a capital letter at the beginning of the thing. And I thought, I never thought it would matter, but it did, I guess. But it seemed like with the day of computers and everything that on they would have caught that, be like, hey, this is the same band name, this must be the same music. So, but they didn't. They made a whole new channel for it, but.
Yep, I can see why Spotify's kind of taking a lot of heat these days here too, and this is just one of those instances as well. So
yeah,
but it seems like another reason might be because of AI these days. So here we go. Jump into it here too, and Crue or David, whoever wants to answer this, I guess. Do you guys use any AI for like artwork or music wise?
Artwork, yeah.
I
You
guess
know,
what's your opinion on it? I guess.
on what on the free stuff that I used on to make the artwork, you know, would give you on like three different arms, or you know, like an arm coming out your head or something like that. But once I signed up for it, on and then it would actually spell the, you know, the band name right. And and it would give me, you know, the stuff I want, because all the artwork I just generate myself, you know. So I like it because, you know, if it's not right, you can be like, do it over. And back in the day, you know, I used to use you know, on certain tools, you know, on just on the computer, and design my own stuff, and it takes hours and hours to make that stuff. And nowadays, you can just type in, hey, this is on the graphics on that I want, you know, give you a picture. Like, do you like this picture? Nope, give me another one. You know, so but I like it. You know, I believe it's a new way of things. You know, the way things are going. And you remember back in the day. You know, I really enjoyed Molly Hatchet's album covers, and I believe, you know, it brings some of that to it, because on Molly Hatchet had more than just a Flirting with Disaster album cover. You know, they had, you know, multiple album covers that had the henchmen on it and stuff. And on I enjoyed the you know, nothing beats a good album, you know, album cover to look at. And on I actually miss albums nowadays, and you know, on but no one really buys music no more. Everyone just buys, you know, like the streaming devices. But you remember being young and going to the music store and buying an album, couldn't wait to get home to read the whole thing on just like a cereal box on Saturday morning. And I mean, I would read all the lyrics, and you know, and look for names like, oh, who wrote this or who did that. And but they don't have that no more. No, but
Yeah.
however, you know, there are some vinyl people that are, you know, that they're, you know, trying to bring it back. Cause I miss the sound of that, that little crackle just at the beginning. You know, when you put that needle on there. And you never know. Maybe if we can afford it, maybe we'll actually put a vinyl album out. You know, on I would like to have that.
I was about to ask. What's up?
Do you have a turntable?
You know, my dad does, and it's tucked all the way back there, and I think he still has like some of his vinyl collection down here. So, and I was gonna ask, like, is this still a hype to get all the vinyls these days, or is it kind of like died down?
No, vinyl's outsold. I think it was last year or the year before. Vinyl outsold CDs.
Yes,
Vinyl's doing very strong, and there's a whole trade organization promoting the sale and now the new thing, recycling of vinyl. That's a thing. Green vinyl. That's a thing.
Yeah. And also, Crue was right too. Whenever you pull out the whole paper right there in the front, right there, where you're able to like read the lyrics, and also you see like who the bandmates are, who they were always faking, and I guess who also took credit, like what studio,
right,
and like all the music and that. So actually, I do remember like Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory. I always thought that one was pretty cool. Just looking at the artwork in the beginning right there. So
Sure.
you know, and you would get like on order forms for merch, and on and man, if it was a double fold where you open it up, and you know, and you had like pictures on the inside like Shout the Devil, or the Kiss on the double platinum, you know, on I just lost my mind with that, you know, that kind of stuff. I was like, holy smokes, look at this. But nowadays, you know, you download a song, or you don't even download it, you just look it up and play it. And uh, and I had the time I was in the wrecker, and the guy was I'm bringing my, you know, smashed semi down to the yard. On he asked me, said, so how does your band make money? And I said, well, but the more you play it. But man, on these people that just play the music, you know, on I deeply appreciate every play. It just that it really doesn't pay a lot, you know, but on it is what it is. You know, if we can make those people happy and dance, then maybe those people will tell two people. You know, just like that old hair shampoo commercial. Like my friends told two friends, and those friends two friends. So maybe we can get those numbers up. You know, because I, you know, it's definitely a good product.
My dream someday is Crue on vinyl. My own personal thing. But
Right?
whether it's part of the business plan or not, I'll take that up with the manager at some point later. But I'd like to see it.
So would I. I would frame it on the wall for you, and I'll send you. On one of those framed ones for you too. Like it might not be 1 million copies, but for as 12 copies sold, it's still framed.
There you go.
You have to send Brian a copy.
I mean, we have to do a certified platinum sort of cover right here next, so we can at least pretend like we certified platinum worldwide. So,
there you go.
We have to sell a few before we get certified platinum.
Anything can happen.
And you know what? As far as when I was younger, and I seen somebody selling Motley Crue's platinum, Shout the Devil, and I'm like, I have to have that. So I went down and bought it, and I took it home, and then one day as far as my kids took it out of the frame, there was nothing more than just a piece of paper that looked like a record. I'm like, oh man, I paid so much money for that.
Was it real?
The paper, it was just a printed piece of paper that that was raised. The record looked really real when it was behind the glass, but when I was able to take it out from behind the glass, it was nothing more than just a printed up paper that was silver, and they had like the little metal piece down at the bottom, like Motley Crue Shout the Devil, for so many sold and stuff like that, and they had a look. But I was young, I was born in 1970, so when that come out, I was giving money away, just like take my money, but. I bought it on everything that was in the that was on the order form. I sent cash in, didn't realize what a money order was, and Motley sends me back a letter saying we don't accept CODs, and I didn't know what a COD was, but yeah. And for my friends used to tell me like Nikki Sixx is wearing a pair of boots on that you bought him,
Yeah, I thought a dream come true would have been like have something on the Hard Rock. Sort of like what you see behind those cases right there. Like this space was played by Jimi Hendrix or something.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that would have been a nice dream there too. So I'm not sure if that's something you guys want to do because I'm sure you got a Hard Rock somewhere in your neck of the woods.
Right?
Yeah. Orlando.
Definitely Orlando, yeah. So
and just before like I said, Motley, I was in the sticks and I wanted that Mr. Roboto mask on so bad, and I was like, how can I get one of those masks? But those guys never sent me a Roboto mask either, but that's okay.
I said, did you try to do Dr. Feelgood at some point?
No, but I do have a song written about Dr. Feelgood, but no, I did have the whole Shout the Devil area, like the armband, the headband, the Nikki Sixx gauntlet, and but man, and now if I can only go back to those days, I do have a Motley Crue Toast to the Town, Stick to Your Guns 45 that they used to throw out in the audience, and so and that's actually as far as on prized possession. So maybe one day we can throw records out in the audience and have people, like by the time my kids get older, be like, man, I got this Sick Kid Crue record, people be like, all right, people can dream. I know we got a good product.
I was say that's what the Gen Z is going to be like, oh, I went to go see Sick Kid Crue, all that stuff.
Thank you.
So,
right.
So I think
that's our market right there.
I'll say I'm more millennial if anything. So I mean, you can also get us millennials as well. So
we get the Gen Z guys. They'll spend anything on a concert ticket.
Let's hope so. I don't know. I think most people want to just stay home these days. So I don't know. I'd say that was one. It was one good benefit of working from home. I will say that it was one good benefit working from home. I will say that.
As far as my daughter, and she's only she's just a youngin', but she's all like on seeing this Taylor Swift, and I'm like, I don't know on where she's playing that live, and she's like, well, Dad, we can just go see the movie of her live. I'm like, that's not a concert. And they're like, yeah, that's what everyone's doing. I'm like, really? People want to go see concerts of this? I'm like, okay, it makes them happy. And I guess no matter where you what?
That you can pay for and go to see a concert, a live concert on TV. There's a service, and I'll give you after this. I'll give you the name of the service. I've not attended it. I know that it exists, and I can give you the contact information there. But there is a service now that you don't have to get out of your house, go get in the car, go see a concert, but you can see the concert on whatever screen you have. It exists.
What fun is that? Like not only do you hear the music, you see the band and you smell the smell inside the arena, all right? And then if you smell it a lot, you eat a lot and you end up on like this, but
maybe they don't want that.
They don't know what they're missing, man.
I think us metal guys probably deterred them too, because we were too busy throwing punches and being dicks in the pits, is what you like to say.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was always the big guys. I never I got pushed around too much, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'd say, man, we could turn him into a bouncer here next before you know it. So
right, I'll be watching the front door. Yep.
I don't know. I think we need someone to watch the back door next. So
right. Yeah. Hey, I have a song about that.
I mean, hey, I know about the One Kiss song here too. I mean, it made probably a reference to some sort of sexual activity. So.
Oh yeah, you got it. If it's a Sick Kid Crue song, it's definitely sleazy, and it has alcohol in it, and it has rock and roll. It has strippers. It has motorcycles. It has all that in it, dude. So yeah, just like the song on "Talk Dirty to Me." It's about like some lonely old guy who can't find love, and so he's using a credit card, to call these sex lines, and he calls on so much at the sex operator. Finally, like, and you're such a loser, and but
that's the lyrics in the song.
right. And well. I'm based off my brother, but that's a different story.
I inherited the good genes. You got the bad genes. That's her deal.
Yeah.
Okay. But I guess since you were talking about lyrics right there, I guess do all your lyrics normally deal with sex, drugs, and rock and roll, or do you try to also get maybe a little personal, maybe talk about some personal experiences?
Yes. We have a song called "Dad's Prayer," which is dedicated to my son. He's going through he battles a drug addiction and depression, and he lives in Colorado, and he's living inside of a shed, and I tell him because he's 30 some years old, and I tell him you can come back home, but he don't want to come home because he's scared of the way he'll act, and he's like, nobody wants me, and I'm like, you can always start over, as far as I tell him Jesus fell 3 times and kept getting up to go to his own death. I said, as far as I'm here to help you. So I wrote that song, Dad's Prayer, for him, and for anybody else battling, on a drug addiction or serious depression. So yeah, on definitely on sometimes I'll write, the everything I feel, So that and. Back in the day, and this might be some videos of it still lingering around on YouTube. I played in a band called Snakeskin Straight Jacket, and I played in a band called Rated X with the EX, and I had a lot of fun with that, and and now it's all sex, drugs, and rock and roll also, and just until I met my wife though. But yeah, and that's where I get my influence from, and. So, and that's where the lyrics come from.
I'm very sorry to hear that they're made. So, is your son? Is he doing okay?
I want to say yes, to make it sound good, but no. On every day he battles, and but I'm always there for him. He can call me 24 hours a day, and so I want him to know that and he feels like I'm his only friend, but I just try to reassure him that life, doesn't have to be the way that he is. He can't keep a girlfriend. His daughter died, and so he's he just really turned his back on whole society, and but I'm trying to get through to him, and every day I feel like I make another milestone with him, another milestone, but it's a slow process, because on some days I think I'm there, and some days then I'll contact him the next day and he's right back to where he was, but I don't give up. No.
Okay. So, prayers to you and your family there, man. So, stay strong.
Depression is a very hard thing, and so is a drug addiction. Like you can look at Metallica's Master of Puppets, and I'll now explain it to you also. But drugs will get you by the poo poo and don't let go. And I tell him, I said, man, you can give up all those drugs, and you're like, no, you don't know how it makes me feel, but sometimes I think you forget that I was young once myself. I know how you feel. But one of these days you're going to have to, either cough it up and learn to be a person in today's society, and but until then, I'm there for him.
All right, we're here for you, mate. If you need any help, so hey,
thanks, man.
And Dave, do you contribute any lyrics as well here too, or is just mainly Crue here is doing all the magic?
Not one of the, at some point, yes. At present, no.
Okay. I guess in that case, here you go first for this question right here. I guess talk about the gear that you guys use. So I guess Dave, what do you got?
Joseph's J220 amps and heads, then guitars. I just recently switched to Kiesel guitars, and it's a custom spin-off of the DC 600. It's a single coil version, and I actually just ordered a new guitar for this band that's got piezo transducers in the bridge. So it's got a hardtail bridge. I don't use whammy bars or anything beyond the basics of the electric guitar. In this case, it'll be the addition of piezo pickups, so I can get some acoustic output, which that'll work out a little bit better for our music, having a stereo guitar, and then of course just add more amplifiers. As far as effects go, my board is got a continuous rotation of effects in and out of it. Most of my sound comes from the amp. Most of my distortion comes from a broken up front end on the amp. And the Joseph's amps are similar to you might be familiar with a Fender Twin reverb or a super reverb that have a normal and a bright channel, and those channels are also present on a Joseph's amplifier, but instead of going in parallel to the power amplifier like they do on a Fender, they go in series. So your normal channel would be your channel volume and tone, and your bright channel would be your master volume and tone. And you really don't need much more gain than that. In fact, that's actually too much gain, because you start opening up those channels, and the amplifier will become unstable. So that's exciting. That can be exciting as well. But that's probably been my main amplifier for a very way before Crue. Has been the main amplifier that I record with as well.
So maybe not on the ears. I think that's the one thing we don't want to start damaging, to be honest. So, and I guess Crue, do you help with any of the gear? I guess what do you use any gear as well?
No, sir. I'm good, but the drummer, the drummer has the first time I've ever seen it. I know on David has seen something like this before, but on this guy, it doesn't have a name brand. It's an actual, where somebody had made the kit, on just out of wood form, and but it does the job. So it sounds really good, and I guess now everything needs to have a name brand to it. And a bass player is using a hardkey amp with 115 and 2 10s in it, and on a BC Rich on bass, so he does okay with it.
Hey, it makes good sound. That's all that matters in our
Right.
sort of profession.
What you were expecting something really exotic and something you.
I was expecting something that was like chrome or something. It had something on it with the diamonds. I mean, geez, you guys are way behind. So
Diamonds and stuff.
The Harkey amp, as far as it does have the metal cones in it, but it sounds really good, dude. And on with that low B, it's like I'm punch you in the face kind of thing. So as long as it sounds good, I guess it's all right.
I was kind of going to make a reference to Diamond in the Rough. That's our deal. So
Right. Oh, hey, maybe I'll write that. Our gear is old, but our gear is old, but it's a diamond in the rough.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not too familiar with gear, but I'm kind of the same way here too. It's something that sounds good. I'm getting it. That's all that matters. So.
Well, as far as and you look at some of these avid guitar players, and they seek out these amplifiers, like the Vox and stuff like that, because and they'll say like, man, you can't get a sound, like on what they used to use back in the day. David, you can probably back me up on this, but on I see these people that go crazy over these old amplifiers, when compared to the stuff that's out nowadays,
Very true. Very true. The original 63 Fender Vibroverb combo amp that Stevie Ray used, very sought after amplifier, and there is something about that amplifier. It has its own sound. It has its own sound. And
is that a tube?
For those as well?
David, is that a tube amp or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't used it on this project, but I've used them. I've used them.
Right.
I was getting ready to say, she's my pride and joy.
There you go.
Yeah. So, hey, anytime Stevie Ray Vaughan's mentioned, you always got to have pride and joy in it. So,
man, right?
And may he rest in peace. It's a shame we lost him there. So,
right.
And so outside of writing the lyrics, so I know that's what Crue does here too. I guess, how's the process of creating a song? Do you sometimes have the lyrics written and then put the music around it, or you do music first and then the lyrics last?
No, as far as I write, and on some stuff, it started off with just like, on sometimes I got like, now since I got my phone, if something just pops in my head, I'm like, ooh, I like that, and I'll write that down, and then sometimes it just sits in the phone for a long time, and then I come back to it, but and then just start working on it, and but it's always the lyrics first on just before I have the music. On the music, as far as I can hear it in my head, and but then I got to pass it on to the guys to see like, hey, is this something possible to do? Because like on sometimes the lyrics, like on just for the singer, he's all like, I need to breathe, man. You're putting in a lot of these words, and I need to breathe. And I'm like, okay, so on but it's for me. For me, it's always the lyrics first, and then the music. Now, if the guys would come to me like, "Hey, we got this riff, and do you have any kind of music on your or words that can go with it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got a crap load of lyrics, and we'll just see like on what fits where." But that's the story on that.
That's the way you're kind of describing the scenario. I know there's like some death metal groups like you cannot understand the lyrics like at all, or like real sounds like real jumbled. I know Cryptopsy is an excellent example of that too. And that's that's how your parents describe what death metal's like. So you're like, hey, you weren't that far off.
It's funny because my mom and dad used to say the same thing. I grew up military, so there was a lot of stuff that we couldn't do. But surprisingly enough, for my mom and dad allowed me to listen to the music I wanted to. But they're like, I can't understand that, and they're like on this and blah 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 and this and nowadays I listen onto the mush mouth stuff that I hear on going on today, and I'll tell my son, I'm like, that's not music, this is music, and I'll put like Kiss and stuff on for him like that, and but it doesn't really sound that bad to me as far as the music I grew up on, because I'm like, it's rock and roll, but it's not like black metal, but it's good fun rock and roll. Like if you take Kiss's Rock and Roll All Night, or Poison's Talk Dirty to Me, or like Motley Crue's Same Old Situation. Basically, it's all the same song. It's just one heck of a party song. And as far as same song, just different lyrics, and people love that party song. It's something that you can sing along with and remember, because most of the people don't know the verses; they only know the choruses. And if you can come out with a good chorus, because people just make up words like blah blah blah, but when that chorus comes out, they sing it at the top of their lungs. And if I can get those people to sing those choruses on like that, I'm like, okay, I got something, you know. On the stuff that my son listens to, he listens to like a lot. For my younger son, he listens to like a lot of rap music, and I'm like, I can't understand the words they're saying. You know, he's like, well, that's called on like mush. I don't know, like a rumble or grumble, whoever rap or something like that. I'm like, why would you want to sing like that? But okay, to each their own. I guess you got to be different.
Gotta check out the scene somehow. So yeah,
right.
That's their deal. And actually, I would have thought they were gonna say it was more satanic music. I always thought that was the big accusation for like Sabbath and like some of those bands like way back in the day too, with like some of the classic rock. Then the satanic scare of the '80s when you had the black metal coming out in Scandinavia there, then Celtic Frost, and then eventually Venom in '82. Then it works its way over into the States, which I guess somehow influences like bands like Deicide and Morbid Angel and those guys.
Well, like on some of the people, like on I was talking about earlier about a gimmick, and some of those people, I've seen that band Ghost, and I painted up, and I'm like, I don't get you, dude. For it, I'd rather listen to Alice Cooper sing about, like My Frankenstein or something like that than listen to Ghost. And but you look at it like Marilyn Manson, on he did good when he was out, but where is he now? But Alice Cooper, man, that man's been around since the 60s and 70s, still headlining tours. So he's got a magic there somewhere. And I believe that the new music comes and goes, but the stuff that that we really like is always going to be around forever. I mean, look how long Kiss did it. Kiss, is now going into the whole digital age, and I don't know if I'm going to pay to go see that, but it does raise my curiosity. I'm like, man, I do want to see it because I want to see like on what they're going to bring out. But the Kiss Army is very strong. Excuse me. But and you're never going to see like a 40th anniversary of just like some of the bands that you were mentioning there. The singer's voice is going to be gone, and the next speed metal drummer is going to be out there doing the same thing as what they're doing. I
would say I think there are a couple of bands who are pushing to 30. I will say that there are some definite bands that are pushing over the 30 limit now, and I think one of the bands was Deicide at one point, and they were originally named Amon, and I think that was like 1989. So I mean, that's going to be almost 40 years come 2029. So I mean, hey, it's possible.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, like it depends how shot their voices are at that point. It's like you said. So,
okay. But then again, Vince's voice from Motley is gone. I don't know if you've seen him lately. Like, give it up, dude. Like, if anybody needs a lip sync on, you need to lip sync on right now. If you're still going to be out there, because he sings so bad, and I was such a huge fan of Motley. It's like, but Vince's vocals are so bad nowadays, man. But
that explains why other people want them to retire. I think I would say like some folks say like Motley should just retire at this point. So
right, well, and they should have went out on top on when they did. Just like on Kiss, Paul Stanley always sounded great live, and but the last tour, it started falling out. And but at least Kiss decided finally, hey, this is our final tour. Just like you remember the Eagles they're like, we're never coming back until Hell's Freeze is over. And then what was the next album? Hell Freeze is over. And but I'm not stupid. On the money talks, and if they can pay these people enough money, and they'll be back, and they'll be back. But at least you have to hand it to Robert Plant. If they handed him one heck of a check and he tore it up, you're like, I'm not doing the reunion with Zeppelin. But so the music we have from Zeppelin is that's the music, and we remember Zeppelin for who they were. And I think a band should, like when it's that time, you should go out on top instead of trying to sell as much as everything you can. Nicky from Motley, I sold the catalog, so he don't own that no more. So now I feel it's just a money grab, and on him. When it turns out to be a money grab, instead of having fun, just like Dave said, it's over. Get out of it because you're not going to give 100% of yourself because it's not 100% going into the music. And if you're just only there for the money, don't be a musician, But you have to enjoy it.
I guess speaking of which, I guess and this kind of leads in here to the next question here too. I guess what challenges do you guys face? And David, you've been very quiet for a while, so I guess David, what challenges do you face these days being a musician?
Finding work. It's not an easy way to pay the rent. That's for sure. And there's different opportunities. There's not the same opportunities. Our world it continues to evolve, and some years more than others, some years more quickly than others. That's probably the biggest single challenge. I mean, the equipment is good, the media is good, resources we can get either our music published or we can get published music that's easily available. All the information flow is very efficient now. It continues to go back to, well, where do we play? And that's probably the big one. And one of the things that I'm expecting we're going to make some inroads into in this next year. And I'm looking forward to that very much.
And Brian, one of the hardest parts I've got, I would say, is like trying to keep, on everybody in the band happy, or, like people on every time somebody in the band contacts me and I see that message on there, I'm like, please don't be a message saying, hey, this is taking too much of my time and I got to quit, because then I got to go to the other guys and tell them, say, hey, we got to find another guy, or have somebody show up and be like, I had a long week, as far as I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to work on the stuff. And I'm like, because within a way, to me, it's also a business. It's like, it's not fair to the other guys who did put in the time just to have somebody else go out and have a good time and then show up and be like, well, we'll do it next week. And, I just don't like when stuff on like that happens. Luckily, I've been very lucky with these guys and I haven't had that problem. So, but, and every time I see a text, I'm like, please don't be one to quit. Please don't be one to quit. Either that or a girlfriend or something will tell them, say, hey, she's not really feeling it. I got to back out. Like, okay, I understand that. Or like, she don't like the lyrics. And we have a song called Eating at the Y. And, it's self-explanatory. And one of the singers quit because he didn't like the lyrics, and even before coming and talking to me, he's like, I can't sing that, I gotta back out. I'm like, okay, nothing I can do to change your mind. We don't have to do the song, whatever like that, but yeah, okay, all right. And it just wasn't his preference, so I didn't know that. And but it's just lyrics, as far as you can go up there and entertain these people, but I guess if that goes against on stuff that you believe in, then I guess this isn't the right fit for you. But it is what it is.
Yeah, there's all things with the sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We tend to go a little overboard,
right?
In our little sick, twisted fantasy, to be honest. So I can see why. Yeah. I can see. And do you handle all the marketing? I guess what's it like being a band manager in this case? I guess when did you decide to be like, hey, I'm going to be a manager?
On as far as it's actually on people think, oh, the glory and the fat guy gets fatter, but I'm not in this on for the money. As far as I started, and I owe a lot to these guys because without them, there is no me. And the music just goes back to nothing. So I have to make sure that I do my job on for them, and then for them to be where they don't want to be like, let's can this guy and just go out and do our own thing, but on a good thing the music is trademarked, so they're like nobody can run off on with any of this stuff, on but no, I have a good group of guys, but it's not easy, because on you're trying to contact these people and trying to get your foot in the door. I've emailed on so many on radio stations and waiting to try to get a reply back, but I'm not one to take no for an answer, so I'll get it done. So right now, I just got to get my back on under control, and I don't want anybody to see me going out there like taking video, like look at this guy out driving, like, but I'm definitely one to hit the roads and never take no for an answer. So we're definitely gonna make this work as long as the guys are willing to stick it out. As far as I'll make this work.
Is it a big trucker going down Route 66?
Right. Hey, I ride on the back of every trailer, Sick Kid Crew, and I write Spotify on YouTube, and everything. And then on one of the videos, I seen somebody put a comment like, I seen on Sick Kid Crew written in the back of a semi, like in the dirt. And I'm like, because I go from Florida to Ohio to California, back to Ohio, back to Florida. So that trailer is seen over 7,000 miles on every week. And for people to see that, be like, what's a Sick Kid Crew? But when you see YouTube and Spotify, people look it up, right? And that's all I need. I just need those people that look that up. And normally there's more than one person inside of a car, so that's free advertisement. So on nothing beats free advertisement, good or bad. Because if it's bad advertisement, people are still going to look it up. I remember when on 2 Live Crew I never knew who they were back in the day, and then they're like, well, their record is so and they're getting that PMRC thing against it, and I was like, well, now I want to go check it out, and I bought it, so PMRC is trying to ban it, and I bought it because I was like, what is this? So good on good media, bad media, it all helps the band, It's just like just like the stories about like Ozzy, like, oh, he bit the head off the bat, but it was a dove inside the record label, and then the stories about like, oh, Manson had a rib taken out and all that, as far as it all makes people like, ooh, really, and so on they go to that and they look it up and that's another hit, and so. Just writing Sick Kid Crew in the back of dirt. I can't get cheaper than that. Maybe that's why we're dirt poor, right?
Something like that.
When you see in so many years' time, how did Sick Kid Crew get to be where we are? This is where we started in the back of a semi trailer door. Is where we started. Right.
At least know they were kissing it afterwards too. So yeah.
Right? You're like dirt poor in the back of a trailer door.
That's it.
Yeah, the trailer park boys. So yeah.
Right? Yeah. Huh? Maybe like that one guy. Right?
Right.
Oh,
all right. Sounds good. But I think you mentioned about some of the social media here too. But I guess outside of Spotify and YouTube, I guess what are social media are you guys on?
Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, on TikTok. We're on Deezer, on Apple, iTunes, Heart Radio, on everything. If it's a music platform, I'm there. As far as on posting everything.
I'm not sure. Are you guys part of the Facebook group Band Together?
Nope, I don't know. I don't know about that one.
But please join us. You'll be able to share your music on there too, and you'll be able to interact with other musicians, including a bunch all in and around Florida. So Maybe you guys can put together something.
We will support anybody that wants to support us also, like because the Facebook page could use a little love, and we're we got like 219 or something like that followers, and people will come on there and hit the like button but actually forget to hit the follow button. All right, and I'm like, man, so I'm always making posts like hit the follow, either that or as far as on these other on local bands, I'm like, hey, we'll do a follow for follow, and so that shows on that we support you, you support us. It's just that on I try to join on some of these groups so we're like Spotify follow for follow, but these people are liars. Like I go to follow and I take pictures and stuff like that, and then I look. And these people never followed me back. So I'm like, man, that's not cool, because on I don't want to have to listen to on your stuff on if you're not going to back me up. It's just a love between musicians, I believe. And if we can't help each other out, then who can help? I mean, if you look at some of these groups, they've got like 1.2 million people inside these groups, and I try telling these people there's no reason why we can't have the numbers match if everybody just helps each other out. But nope, so many people are just out for themselves. I'm, as my job, I go through these things and I try to find people, to follow our band. But I don't want fake followers. I want people who really, enjoy the music. But on 1.2 million people inside of a room, there shouldn't be any reason why we all can't help each other out. But it's just like the trucking company, or the trucking industry. On we could own it and get paid really well, but nope. We can't come together. We can't even tell what color the sky is. Yes. 5 truck drivers are all going to say that's blue, that's light blue, that's this. So, but
navy blue, yeah. So.
Yeah, but on either that or Facebook will tell me, and they'll be like, on you're trying to find followers illegally. So then they send me a strike, and I'm like, whoa, how am I doing illegally? I send the link out to all my friends and stuff like that. And I think like, man, back in the day, we used to take the staple gun and just staple up posters everywhere, and so basically that's all I'm doing on digitally, but Facebook, I don't like you doing it by yourself, but they want you to pay for it. But the moment you pay for it, I started getting profiles of people, like guys with girls' names and girls with guys' names, and I started looking these people up, and they're not even real people. And I'm like, I don't want those people on the page, I mean, the numbers are there, but I want people to hear the music, I want them to I don't want Sick Kid Crue to be fake, and that's the last thing I want to be remembered for is fake.
That's true. And I guess would that be some of your advice you give to other musicians on social media and in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, there's actually man, I can't remember but there's a band that I had met from Doc Rock's on Metal Shop 101 who lives just south of us. And I'm like, cool, as far as so I've actually talked to them and and they do a little bit of speed metal, but it's and it's like the Metallica, to where you can understand them. I wish I could remember on their name, but I like to give them a shout out, but I can't remember the name right off my head. But it's those guys are really nice, and they follow us, and we follow them. And I like to eventually do a show with them, like maybe get like a bunch of Florida people together, of really good bands, and just be like, hey, this is the music, and sell tickets to it, and have one hell of a party, Stranger things have happened,
I mean, yeah, it has happened. So,
yeah.
Like I said, David, I guess what advice would you give to musicians on social media and in your neck of the woods?
Don't give up the dream.
Yes.
Don't give the naysayers any more traction than you absolutely have to. It's people will just suck the wind out of your sails to suck the wind out of your sails because you're doing something that they will never be able to do or possibly never be able to understand. If it's music that's in your heart, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to pursue it. It may require getting a day job along the way, but that's just part of the path.
That's for sure.
Awesome. And David hit the nail on the head right there. Also on some good advice for these people. Copyright your stuff, all right, and don't believe those people that be like, hey, I can make you a star just by $11. I can get you all this and all this, because on those people on they will steal your stuff, and before you know it, if you don't have your stuff copyrighted or protected, and you're going to hear your stuff sung by somebody else, be like, that's my stuff, and then if you have no recollection of copyrighting that stuff, and you're just SOL. And something I just learned recently from David is like sending it to yourself inside of an envelope isn't really enough. You have to actually register. So and that would be on one of the along with what he said, that would be as far as some of the best advice I can give people is like spend the money on if you're serious about the stuff, on get your stuff copyrighted, and don't fall for those cheap things where people promise you stardom or millions of views on overnight for like $11-12. It doesn't come in a bottle. You don't have to work for it.
Little message in a bottle. So yeah,
right.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing that advice right there. It does really mean a lot. So
right.
Hopefully one of these days we can get you on band together. So you should all go check it out. So.
All right.
So Crue and David, we're down to the fun questions right now. So I guess you all ready?
Yes, sir.
The thought question, is that what you said?
Fun questions. Sorry. I'm going to say COVID messed with my English, so I'm not as good as I used to be. So
okay.
It's like fun, that sort of thing. So, all right. But here's how it goes. So, Crue, you can go first. But what's currently your favorite food?
You're thinking too hard.
Well, look at me. There's not much food that gets away from me. I would say on anything my wife makes. So that covers me there. Okay. But on if I had to go out, I would say pizza. Pizza.
So she does nice pizza, and then like you have a little rough action afterwards. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm work that pizza off.
That's a good choice. Yeah.
Right.
And, I would say pizza is normally been a good one here too. It's already anything that's been mostly Italian. I would say that most people normally go for the Italian, and then Chinese or Asian foods like a close second.
I like Italian also. We go to like on the Olive Garden, and they're like, would you like some more breadsticks? I'm like, look at me. Heck yeah, I want some more breadsticks, But keep them coming. And yeah, I like Italian.
That's right. I don't think I want to get between you and Olive Garden breadsticks too. So.
Right. But I write stand-up comedy also. But I have that out there. So. But I'm okay on being a big guy. I've always been a big guy. I used to play football and I thought I was going to make it big in football, and then it blew up my knee. Then after you blow out your knee on all the people who are scouting you, just like, hello, So
hot potato now.
Do what?
You're become a hot potato then. Once you're injured, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Once that knee blew out, and because I was one heck of a lineman, and for my coaches used to ask me to fail in school so they can keep me on their team, and but I was playing sandlot football, and they handed me the ball, and the person took me out on the side of the knee, and I had to have that orthoscopic surgery, and after that my career was over. So it's all right.
Actually, I do remember an uncle of mine. He was kind of the same way too. He was real big guy too, and he went to one of the schools called Edinburgh. And he could have been probably one of those NFL linemen. So, but he also blew out his knees as well. He had both knees blown out actually. So.
And that's the way I was going, man. I had those people scout me. They're like, "Hey, what do you plan on doing? What college? What do you do this? What do you do that?" And then once I blew out the knee, no one wanted to talk to you. It was over. Like, man.
Damn. So
no checks, no royalties, no nothing. Just
nope.
it's over.
Yep. We could say him as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. We could probably still make it work. So. Okay.
Right.
Plus, I know you're doing stand-up comedy too. I was thinking like you could be the Gabriel Iglesias, or how you pronounce his last name, for white guys. That's their deal.
Right.
Yeah. Iglesias. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So.
Yeah. Iglesias.
Iglesias. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. David, what's currently your favorite food?
Say again, please.
What is currently your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food.
Yeah.
Okay, same question. Elmwood. A super burrito at the Elmwood Taco and Sub Shop in Buffalo, New York.
Let me go all the way to New York just to have a burrito.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If we're up in Western New York, it is required we go to Elmwood Avenue in Buffalo and we chase down these super tacos. They're really good. They're worth the drive.
And now you got me wondering.
You never had one?
No, I have never had one, but now I want one.
Now there's some good marketing right there.
Right.
We could work out a deal on the on our next promotion up in our next date up in Western New York.
Right.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Sick Kid Crew eats tacos from New York or burritos, and
At least we get a box of T-shirts out of the deal.
right.
But hey, gotta do what you gotta do. So I can see why. Actually, you should take that recipe and bring it back to Florida. That way you don't have to make like the 10 or so hour drive. So yeah.
I've tried. Years ago, I had a condo in Orlando, and I had it all set up, and I had all the right instruments and everything I thought I needed to duplicate their the meat recipe. I tried all summer long. I just made myself sick a couple of times. I tried all summer long to duplicate Elmwood Taco and Sub. The way they season their beef, I got maybe close a couple times, but nothing. It was just still such a long shot away from the original. I eventually gave up on it. I thought I was going to nail it too. I really thought I was going to nail it. Didn't happen.
Hey Brian, if you ever see a Sick Kid Crew taco truck, and you know the music didn't pan out for us, so we turned it into a taco.
It isn't going to happen without the recipe, though. We need to crack the recipe.
Right?
Plus, I think David threw the recipe away. Otherwise, you just got to make your own sort of tacos right there.
Yeah, I think you would probably have to start from scratch because I duplicating Elmwood Taco and Sub is not going to happen. Not in the cards for me, anyway.
David, on you cook and I'll drive the truck.
Someone's got to drive the truck.
Right.
You need a professional.
Right.
Hey, we can be in our hobby at some point here too, but all right, I'll leave it up to you guys. Hey. And Crew here for the next one. I think you might have already answered it too, but what is currently your favorite movie?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. On
Steve Martin, yeah.
Steve Martin, and I think on you have to see it, man. On and it's not a stupid comedy, but the people who have seen it be like, man, I love that movie. But yeah, I feel like I've actually lived that movie, being a truck driver for over 30 years, and as far as check it out, it's a great comedy.
All right, and David?
Favorite movie is On Any Sunday. I believe it was Bruce Brown was the producer. 1972.
Not ringing any bells. So. I mean, I know about Groundhog Day and maybe some other ones here, but not too familiar.
You can watch it on Netflix.
It is on Netflix. Okay. All right. Great choices. And Crew here for the next one. And I'm not sure if you drink, but if you do drink, what's your favorite alcoholic drink and non-alcoholic drink?
Jack Daniel's whiskey, straight black label, and non-alcoholic. Would be I enjoy Mountain Dew, But lately I've been trying to get away from soda and drinking water. If I'm getting to be that age where the doctor's like, you got to drink something, you got to get away from the sugar. So I'm like, well, what can I have? They're like, water. I'm like, besides water, they're like, water. Like, I'm gonna stop paying you, doctor. But that's what they want me to drink, water. So, but one nice thing is like, like if you go to the clubs and stuff like that, and if I tell them, hey, I'm the manager, I'm the designated driver, and they'd be like, well, you can drink for free, and guess what? I'm not going to drink water for free all night. I'm like, I want some soda, but yeah, I only unlive once. I don't smoke or nothing, like that. But yeah, right,
That's how they get
but,
you. It always happens. So,
right.
actually, I'm going to enjoy a couple Angry Orchards today since we're already in celebration of Labor Day weekend. So, my favorite drink.
Right, right.
Yeah. So you can't go wrong with water. Actually, yesterday was the first time I had Mountain Dew in a good while. Still totally awesome.
Right. Well, on the wife will buy me on that zero sugar Coke, and if I it's not really too bad as long as it's ice cold. But if you drink that enough time, and if you drink a regular Coke, the regular Coke tastes so sweet, but it's just like trying to change your palate all over. But you can take some of that non-sugar Coke and put some of that Jack in there, and it's okay.
You put enough Jack in, sure.
Right,
Yeah.
right. See, that's what I'm saying.
Hey, Jack solves about everything. It solves all my world's problems right here, too.
Right?
I find most of the world's problems can be solved after a good drink of Jack Daniels. So
There you go.
You don't know, Brian. We need to get together, and you need to come out and hang out, man. We got a black bottle right here for you.
I would say my parents, they've recently been coming down to Florida, like always in every February. So they've always went to like Key West and all those places. So they go pretty further south, if you know what I mean. So
Well, invite them too. We'll drink with them too, and then,
right.
and if they can ask us any questions they want.
I would say my dad's a gin drinker, so I don't know how much of a gin drinker as you guys are.
That's fine. You can have gin. Now I'll open up a bottle of Jack, and just as long as I have a place to stay the night, we're good. You can ask me questions all night long, man.
All right,
Where are you from?
I'm from the north. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA, Steel City.
Okay.
So
All right.
Steel Nation is what I like to call it.
You need to come down here, man.
Good rock and roll town, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I used to have the Stanley Theater. That was where my dad always saw like a lot of Kiss, but he saw a whole lot more of Ted Nugent because he was more of the opening act for a lot of those bands. So,
Mm-hmm.
even though Ted Nugent probably got a little controversial these days with his political views, he still does do music. So, gotta respect that stupid asshole though. He stuck to his guns. So
Yeah.
But actually, David, I think I asked you this question. So, what's your favorite alcoholic drink and non-alcoholic drink?
Well, Johnny Walker Black will do if there's no Jack available. And there's a place in Sebastian, Sandy's Grill, unsweetened iced tea. And there's something that they do with the water, or there's something they do with the tea leaves. It's like nothing else. It's got to be the unsweetened though. Sandy's Grill, and everything else in the menu is fine. But that's the one standout thing that I go back there and ask for first.
I would say it's probably a secret ingredient.
I'm sorry?
I was going to say it's probably a secret ingredient. Vodka.
I don't know what I've asked them about. It's like, well, how do you do this? Or what kind of, are you using special filters on the water? Or, how are you all doing it? But it's the same every time. It's really good every time. And it's the first thing I ask for every time. And I'm hoping they don't screw it up. Because I don't think anybody really does know the recipe.
Filter on the water. Okay.
It's either that or it's like when management changed hands if somehow they screwed up the taste afterwards.
Yeah, there is that.
I would say I think you're almost a little screwed here too, and I think this all kind of ties in with like taste buds, for instance. And I think every 7 years your taste buds change. So unfortunately, he might lose the whole taste with the iced tea. So
I only have so many more years of life tea expectancy, and then I'm done, huh?
It might come back at some point here too, and it may still taste good. I don't know, but it's always like, yeah, it's along those lines. So I can see why.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess I'll enjoy it now while it's here.
Idea. I mean, I didn't used to like blue cheese, and I now usually like to use it every now and again as a good dipping sauce. So, and Crew here for the last fun questions. What would you say is currently your favorite song in the indie world, and then also from the mainstream world?
I have to go with Sick Kid Crue's newest song. Hit me with your best shot. All right, but which is available on Amazon and Spotify and everything. But it's a great song. But if I had to pick one favorite song to listen to for the rest of my life, it would be "Looks to Kill" on by Motley Crue.
Yep. She's got the looks that kill. So yeah.
Exactly, man. Man, that I remember seeing it. Like I said, the video for the first time, and it was like, bam! It was like sticks who, man. But Motley, and the Looks to Kill, it just brings it, dude. On him, I like that. I like that feeling.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like Home Sweet Home. I go to these concerts and I stand around and watch these people, and they don't know anything on before Home Sweet Home, or they don't know anything from like the Shout the Devil album or the Too Fast for Love album, and I'm like, really? Why are you even here? But it's always been on Looks to Kill for me.
Hey, great choice. And I do know a band that actually did cover that song. It's called Oppressor. So if you want to give it a shot, it is done in a death metal sort of style, but they still cover the song. So,
hey. Have to check it out.
Hey. And David?
So you want alternative and then mainstream? 2 songs?
One's from the indie community. So indie artists, for instance.
Okay. I'll go back old indie then.
Okay.
Seesaw by Talus.
Ooh.
And mainstream will be I Need a Favor by Jelly Roll. I know you all heard that one.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember Jelly Roll. I think the one I always hear is like Halfway to Heaven, Halfway to Hell, My Angels and Demons. That whole song there too.
So. He's got a lot of stuff out now. He's steamrolling it. He's doing really good.
I want to say he's like the Post Malone of the country world when you think about it, with like all the tattoos, right?
Well, right? The tattoos, I guess, except that the Jelly Roll's got a voice,
I never understood the face tattoos. I gotta understand the arms and maybe the chest. The ones I don't understand are the face and back. I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either.
Brian, I'm sorry, David, but Brian, and you're so right, because I don't understand the face tattoos either, because on the first time I see you, if you have your face tattooed up with words, I'm sitting there reading your face, okay? Like hey, on there's a poker song, I'll be like, I'm reading your face, but it's not because you're playing poker, because you got all those letters on it, But yeah, I have tattoos, but I would never tattoo my face. I don't understand the whole. But okay, no, you gotta live with that for the rest of your life, man. I mean, for unless you're famous, right, and you got the money to back it up. But I see some of these people who do it, and like, you don't have the money to back that up, right? But okay, because I mean, and you can't go to Walmart and not expect somebody not to look at your face, because people are like, what are you staring at? I'm like, well, you got stuff written all over your face, like. Why would you put it there if you didn't want people to look at you? So.
It's the same thing with the back tattoos, because I forget what movie it was, but I think the protagonist, he had like this real badass cross. It was right on his back. And the thing is, you can't look at it. So it's almost like, I want to see my art. I want to look at my arms, my chest, and everything too. Be like, damn, that's some good Da Vinci sort of artwork right there. So.
Hey, Brian, if anybody's watching this, later on, and they're willing to let me put a Sick Kid Crew tattoo on their face, I'll pay them $100.
I don't know about that. It would have to be like Cheek would be like Sick Kid Crew, all right there. Hey, I don't know. So.
But it has to be on the face, So I'll give you $100. The offer's out there. Contact us, and we'll make it happen.
All right, we'll hold you to it. So, all right.
Right. Hey, And that's my job to get the name out there. So once it's on there, it's on there. Because I'll pay you for putting it on, but I won't pay you to have it taken off. But I just have to
Okay.
take that opportunity.
Hey, there's always a risk reward when it comes to it too. So
Right.
okay. So Crue and David, we're down to one more question on my podcast right here. I guess before we jump into it, did you guys have any other questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
Thanks very much for having us here. This has been a great honor and a great way to spend the Saturday. I've enjoyed the heck out of this.
I did all that. I appreciate on everything you do, Brian. I went and watched your page. I subscribed to it, and I just want to thank you for having us and putting up on with the time thing that I kept putting it off, but I'm glad you stuck with it and had us on today. Appreciate you and on everything you do.
No worries. And I did forget to ask this one, but we'll love it here with this question right here because I think you guys have been accused of being an AI band, but you can probably talk about it here in this question. So, given what COVID has done, obviously you guys have been pretty blessed. I know you probably got sick like here and there, but came out better and stronger. And I know you got your own struggles here and there too. But for those musicians and people who've been impacted by COVID or anything else in their lives, what's their message of hope? Could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in a post-COVID world? And Crue, you can start off.
The only hope I can give them is, just like David said earlier, on don't give up. On if you can see the light, as far as on don't let on anybody, stop you from what you want to do. Like just like you said on things that we face problems, but we don't let that stop us. We keep going and going. So and just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you'll get there. And regardless of how long it takes you, at least you're doing something and you love and enjoy it. And as long as you love and enjoy it, and you're never going to fail. Money doesn't mean that that you may start them. As far as you can go out and play, for this amount of people or do this or whatever, but like I said, money doesn't make you a star. So and just keep at on doing on what you're doing. If you fall, get back up. It happens to everyone. And that would be my advice to everybody, no matter on what you're doing.
Okay, and David?
I'm gonna like to suggest everybody just stay looking forward. I know the band is. I know we're looking forward to doing some shows, and I'm speaking for myself. I think I'm also speaking for the group. We'd really like to see you guys out at a show and
Right.
try and get some of this live music going again. I mean, it's enough, to talk about it on the sidelines, but at the end of the week, when you get the paycheck in your pocket, are you going to go to the show or not? And we would really like to see you there, and it might be we might actually have a good time for a change. So
Right.
give it some.
Yep.
So we got enough problems these days with this current election coming up here too, so it adds to our general stress. So you can see why. And I guess Crue, real quick, if your band being accused by some people, like in social media, that you guys are an AI band, because that's what we talked about when we were messaging back and forth.
Yeah, and yeah, at first, on because I take a little bit from here and a little bit from there and there, and just like I spoke through the earlier in the show, and you remember the band on the Gorillas, and nobody on ever seen the Gorillas, and I thought maybe I'll take a little bit of that and now to keep the band, because I enjoy doing on audio video work, and I thought Kiss is coming out on with the way that they're doing, and I thought maybe that's what people wanted. So I thought maybe that would be the direction I would go. But then the radio guy asked me, he said, "Hey, on can you prove on that you're real and stuff, like that?" I'm like, "Yeah." So on and this
How about y'all come to a show and we'll blow your faces off, and then you'll see
right.
we play really loud.
Right. I mean, on
Go back to
David's
the days
here,
when Slade and Kiss were blowing your ears off. So yeah.
Right. So yeah, on on the proof is in the is in the video. Here we are, and so it's another step to help us, Brian. So I appreciate it there too.
No worries. And forgot to mention this earlier. Spoke like a bunch of true prodigies. All right. So David and Crue, we reached the end of my podcast right here, and boy, oh boy, we almost talked for about 2 hours right here. So
Wow.
I guess,
Right.
yeah, time flies. But I guess, do you guys got any final words? Want to give any shout outs out there before we close?
Thanks to everybody that supported our music and is going to buy our records and buy tickets to the shows. Hope to see you there.
Buy the damn tickets already, people. Yeah.
Right. I feel the same way. On if I'm not selling out these guys' show, then I'm not doing my job. So I need, if you're watching this, or if we come to your town, if you see Sick Kid Crew on your, you can't get that name mixed up with any other band name. Check us out. On check out the music now. So on the words. If I have to put up a screen on with the words playing behind us, I'll do that. If I have to rent a billboard sign, I'll do that. Just check us out. And we're real. We're here, and hopefully, we'll be coming to your town.
Coming into your town, and taking your girlfriends too. So
right.
Yeah.
Lock up
and in and out of town. The alibis fit like a glove.
So it's a home game. Let's see Kid Crew's coming to town and fucking up your boyfriends. That's their deal.
That's right. Don't contact us 9 months later because this manager isn't paying for that.
All right, sounds good. And just real quick, Crue, can you just mention the social media and streaming platforms you all are on so they can check out your music and maybe interact in any sort of way?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're on Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, YouTube, Apple, iTunes, iHeart, anywhere that you can get music. We are on all the platforms. Instagram, TikTok. So I think I got them on. We have a Facebook page. Check us out there. We keep everything on just up to date. I'm currently working on making a website, and when that's fully up and functional, I'll post that onto the Facebook page. But we would deeply appreciate it. People would go check us out.
Okay. And just real quick, do you want to promote any new music or any new material you guys got coming out soon?
We just dropped the "Hit Me with Your Best Shot," and it on what the album had just come out this year. The Sick Kid Crew self-titled album, on which can be found on like all the platforms on that I said. So but we do have some new stuff coming out. It's just that it just singles because I've been researching this, and it seems like people want singles more than albums. Because it seems like the singles get played more than what the albums do. But I like the look of an album. When you go on Spotify, I don't like seeing like all those singles, but as far as people seem to to click on it more instead of just opening up an album and listening. Like the Sick Kid Crew album has 16 songs on it. There's a lot of music there, for people to check out. But when you go to look at it, the people pick out their favorite songs just like a regular album, but they don't get down to the bottom of it, and they're like, man, there's still some good music down at the bottom. But so we've just been putting out singles.
Yeah, it seems to be the way to go these days, you too. So you're not alone in that regard. So.
And Brian, it's weird because like back in the 50s they did the same thing. Instead of like putting out a full album, they put out a 45, and on one side you had a great song, and on the other side, it's all like, that's why it's called the B-side, and but I feel like we've revolted back to on those days where people are just putting out a single. Tommy Lee from Motley has said like on why should we put in all this time to make an album. But it's still fun for us, and I think it's fun for the guys, and But I guess I could see, like, if you're spending hours and hours inside the studio, and only 2 songs don't get picked up on off the album, you know, I guess I could see that. But on on everything I write, I feel like, man, this is the next hit. This is the next one. You know, it might not be, but on I think it is. And people just listen to it, and sometimes the first initial time you listen to it, it's like, but on if you listen to it and actually listen to the music, 2 or 3 times, you're like, hey, this grows on me. I like this. On like the Motley Crue on the Dogs of War, which sounds a lot like AI, but for I listen to it, and being a Motley fan, I'm like, at first I thought, this sucks, but then the more I listen to it, I'm like, I like it. On them, they're like a version I can never do that with, but on them, people just need to give it a chance, man. And like on them, if you see us playing out live somewhere, skip the cover band for that night and come see us. Have a good time. You can go see the cover band tomorrow night or something like that. They're playing the same music tomorrow, just like the radio plays over and over. So come out and check out something new. Have fun on relive on some of the 80s, memories, and like inside of a new style.
Oh, sure. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeff, for sharing their Crew. So
thank you.
All right, but we have to close out like this. So everyone, my guests today were Crue, aka Daryl, and we got David down here. They're part of the group Sit Kid Crew. So make sure you guys go support the music on all the socials. Go hit them on all streaming platforms right there. You guys are bringing back the 80s right here in a very good way. So it's good to keep those memories alive. And for the love of God, will you just go out to the damn venue and see these guys already? Jeez.
Right.
Forget about those cover groups. You'll get Journey another day, so don't worry about that. So.
All right.
So David, Crew, I want to wish you all the best going forward, mates. So you stay safe because it's a crazy world out there. Rock on. Stay tuned, y'all.
Thanks for having me.
Same to you, brother. Thank you.